Hello everybody, thank you for joining us. Today we'll be doing an anatomy sketch, and it is of the body that is comprised from the inside out when we are working with shadows and cross-hatching. So we'll put a structure in so that you could follow this more easily, and I intend to make a person like so. So the head kind of tilted like this. The light source is from that side, and what I'm doing is I'm just putting in first. You could go about like this actually, just put in an arc for the shoulders. So tails, because I want to show this at an angle, and because it's going to work better that way, not exactly like straight. It could work if he's like standing straight, but at an angle it'll just make it more dynamic and more elements will come out. So that's the elbow, and that's the arm, and that is the chest area, that is the torso, and we will make him like somewhat sort of a fit person, not too over the top. And then of course right around the frame we'll put in some minimal lines for the arm, chest, collarbone, neck, and as I said, it's, as I mentioned, it's at an angle, so I'm showing it like that. So those are just, let's say, a pair of trunks, and there's the other arm right there. So that is the frame that I've only put in because so that we could follow this more easily as we are going along. And now we will be using two types of cross-hatching. Now, as I mentioned, the light source is coming from here, so right around here the shadows begin to set in. So I'm using crosshatch, and where the shadows are exactly like absolutely dark, I'm putting in a darker crosshatch tone. For instance, like on this side of the face, deep into the Adam's apple area, putting in some crosshatch here as well, right along the collarbone, because the shadow does fall. There might be variations. It's darkest like right around the face and right opposite the source of light. So this is how we are working with this. And then I'm working along the arm first, I guess, and I'm going to continue to put in tones along that shape. And it's really, crosshatch is really back and forth, strokes back and forth, back and forth. And I'm essentially, if you haven't like noticed, I'm just using straight line crosshatch. I haven't gone like this or like that. I'm going like this, and I'm just like deepening it up as I go, or making it more faded according to preference. And right here I'll just give him some like muscle definition there, a little bit of definition right here against the hollow that is formed between the bicep and the forearm. And then I'm using stark or very dark tone right here, and I'm using lighter tone right around here, then slightly dark again around the rounder area of the pec here, and then again varying into lighter tone. So it has to have like variations. Variations mean that with every stroke at your command you can have dark, light, going, and it has to have absolutely very light variation. So I'm putting in like minimal tone here because the light comes here and there's the little bit of round there, and so I'm putting in a fill right against that peck and a little bit of tone where that peck turns inward, and that goes up to the collarbone there. You could even try to like blend it, and then I'm going to right under that peck, depending on how heavy the peck is, put in the more contrasting darker tone, which will again go into a fading tone as it goes around the bend here, because there's a bend right here. Let's say that if I were to put in dimension, it would be like this, and there's the serratus structure, and some of this will, and again it's up to you, it's your preference how you wish to define this person's body, or how much toned and fit he is, and how many details can be incorporated. But right now it's a minimal exercise, so I am doing exactly a little bit with it, and right here against that peck, against the body, we are putting in some tones as they would most likely, and again harder here. I did actually go a little bit of round there, so out of habit, but I wanted to keep straight strokes all through. So straight strokes all through, and right against the hand there. If I were to have a bit of the hand like showing, again maybe a fist might just be simpler, so I could go put in some tones right there along the fist, just to let the hand come out a little bit. And then of course I come right down with the cross hatch, go inward, and depending on how defined his abs are, I could put in some packs of abdominal muscles there, depending on again how fit this individual is. And then we could go right along carrying those tones down like so. So as you see, it's already looking like a person, and again you could do so much more with this, again depending on how much you wish to keep out into the light, how much is away from the light. You can keep on using the tones and the crosshatch to define this model, or define a person better in the shadows and in the in a source of light, again depending on how the person is placed in that light source and how much you wish to define his body structure. So that is a quick way of putting down a form in different tones, and by using just crosshatch, and that's kind of like working from the inside out, and it really works. It's a very fun practice. Do try it out with different objects. With, I think people are actually the best practice when it comes to this kind of drawing exercise. Thank you for watching. Please do subscribe and keep in touch. Have yourself a wonderful day.